Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you is Isaiah Brown, the 32-year-old Virginia man who was shot 10 times, and some will say 7, by a Virginia sheriff's deputy. Now, this all occurred out of something very foolish and something very trivial, I have thought. And this story is rather strange. And I've noticed that a lot of celebrities are not really jumping on it. A lot of people in general are not really jumping on it because they jumped on the Ma'Khia Bryant case. And it seems like this story got way ahead of itself, where a lot of details came out later that made the shooting look a little more justifiable than it did in the beginning. But in this case right here, the Isaiah Brown case, this was a case where he was in an argument with his brother, and the deputy who had given him a ride home earlier was dispatched there again or showed up again. Now, I find this case to be very odd, very strange that he gave Isaiah a ride home earlier at nighttime. Reportedly, the car was stranded. And I just want to give you an idea as to what the conversation was with his brother. He says, "Give me a gun." Brown is heard saying, "I'm not playing, bro." His younger brother says, the dispatcher then asks Brown, "What is the problem?" He goes, "I'm about to kill my brother." "Don't kill your brother," the dispatcher says. "Somebody needs to come here real quick," Brown says. Now, I want to bring out something, but before I do, I want you to listen to the conversation that Brown is having with the dispatcher. Then I will come back with my commentary.
Isaiah, what's going on?
My brother won't let me get in my mom's room.
The Spotsylvania County Sheriff's
Gun on you.
No.
Do you have any weapons on you?
No.
You need to hold your hands up. Hold your hands up.
Show me your hands now! Police. Let go of the gun!
Okay, so you heard that. And this is what I want to bring to the table. We as Black people, we have heard and witnessed through social media all the police shootings and killings of Black people. Then why are we so quick to call law enforcement for trivial issues and things? Do Black people realize and understand that calling law enforcement is like calling on a death sentence? You're already going to be profiled. There's already going to be a fear of you. There's already going to be a prejudice against you. Systemic racism is worldwide, but we're talking about here in the United States of America. So why be so quick to call law enforcement? I'm not necessarily blaming you for your own death or blaming any of these people for their own death, but I will say this much. They did contribute to it, or the people who called did contribute to it. Knowing how law enforcement feels about Black people, knowing their treatment of Black people, knowing the outcome, what is the outcome more likely to be? It just seems like to me that it's not going to be good. And these issues, it just seems like to me, Ma'Khia Brown here, people are still not quite sure what the heck happened. Whether the foster mother called some older girls there to talk to her, to beat her up, whether she was the aggressor. We do know that the father was there. But we do know that grown adults were there. They couldn't intervene. They couldn't break things up. They had to call law enforcement. With black bodies, black lives, law enforcement is going to be trigger happy. They're going to always yell, drop the gun. I mean, that's to cover themselves up, to make, if there's a court case later on, to make it seem like you had a gun. In this case right here, this man is 32 years old. You're arguing with your brother because he wouldn't allow you to go into your mother's room. And you're going to call police for that. Come on, guys, seriously. Now, Isaiah ends up getting shot. Some people say 10 times, others says 7. I'm kind of inclined to believe that 10 shots went off, but 7 might have hit the body. But 7 or 10 shots. What is his quality of life going to be like after, and even if he does come through? It just seems like to me that it was just something very childish, immature, very trivial that you're putting your life in danger for. See right there, we can't even get along with each other enough without getting law enforcement involved, without getting a racist system of law enforcement involved into trivial family matters. Now we have a brother who may not make it. We have Ma'Khia Bryant who didn't make it, who was murdered. All because we cannot handle our own issues or problems. Or all because we have too much faith in a racist system. Do not forget what police were invented for in the first place. They were invented to catch runaway slaves. That we're going to involve that institution into our family matter. So I would encourage all black families in America, before you involve law enforcement, ask yourself, how deeply is the situation? Is it really critical? Is it really necessary? Could this possibly end in death? I'm not saying law enforcement should never be called. Yes, they should. If it's a situation where someone is being beaten, someone's life is in danger, yes, they should be called. However, if it's a family argument, someone's not being let into a mother's room, or you could just walk out of the house and then, the situation's mitigated then, what's the point of calling law enforcement still, though? They're not your heroes. They're not your problem solvers. In many cases, what they're going to do is create a lot more problems for you, to the point where you wish you would not have called them. So let's do some more critical thinking and ask ourselves, is it really worth getting law enforcement involved? Is my life in danger? Is someone else's life in danger? If not, then don't call them. If your life is in danger, if it's in peril, if someone else's life is in danger, then do call them. Use them when necessary. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. And I will see you all beyond and through.